Hey, what's up you guys? I'm back with another video and right now we're going to react to how good was James Worthy really? Small forward from the Showtime Lakers in the 80s, and this is a video from one of my favorite NBA YouTubers, Johnny Arnett. You should go check him out. But anyway, let's get to the video.
Lately, I've been hearing a lot of people discussing and comparing the greatest NBA duos of all time. Shaq always loves bringing up this conversation on social media, which makes sense because he thinks him and Kobe were the best duo. Most people think it was Jordan and Pippen, and then some people will bring up Magic and Kareem. But honestly, the suggestion of them always bothered me a little bit, because the majority of Kareem and Magic's time together, they were not simply a duo, they were a trio. The third overlooked and disregarded superstar in that trio was Big Game James Worthy. But just how good was he really? Well, let's start by taking it back to the beginning of his career. Thanks to a trade the Lakers had made several years earlier, they had the first overall pick in the 1982 NBA draft, and with it, they took James Worthy from the University of North Carolina. He was a skilled 6'9" small forward who was quick and aggressive and often was on the receiving end of a Magic Johnson-led fast break. The high-octane, fast-paced, Showtime offense of the 80s Lakers, together with the fast slasher that is James Worthy, was basically a match made in heaven. He still had some growing to do, though, and he spent his rookie season coming off of the bench providing an offensive spark for Los Angeles. In that first season, he averaged 13.4 points, 5.2 rebounds, 1.7 assists, and 1.2 steals on an extremely efficient 57.9% shooting. Efficiency would be a theme of Worthy's career throughout. He didn't take many shots from a great distance, and he rarely took any stupid or highly contested shots. He was smart with a high offensive IQ who relied on either the fast break or his low post game in half-court sets. He was another one of those fundamentally sound legends who possessed fantastic footwork. You just don't hear people bring it up much. In Worthy's first two seasons with the Lakers, they lost in the NBA Finals to the 76ers and the Boston Celtics. But it was his third year in the league where James really began to break out and make a name for himself, and in turn, the Lakers were ready to make the most of it. As a 23-year-old, he had secured his place as the Lakers' starting small forward, and the Lakers dominated, finishing with a 62-20 record for the best record in the Western Conference. It was his best season yet, behind averages of 17.6 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 2.5 assists on 57.2% shooting. His regular season was pretty good, but he earned his Big Game James nickname in the 1985 playoffs. He thrived in that postseason, averaging 21.5 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 2.1 assists on a remarkable 62.3% shooting, almost unprecedented efficiency coming from a small forward. After their victory over the Celtics in 6 games, he was an NBA champion and had established himself as one of the clutch performers of the league. This would be just the start, though. His next season would be his first of 7 straight All-Star seasons.
Nice.
Over that period of time, James would average 20.3 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 3.5 assists on 52.7% shooting. He was quite often the second and sometimes the first scoring option for the Lakers during that stretch. He continued the trend of being a great player, but in the playoffs, he consistently went from being simply a great player to an all-time great player. There's no shortage of epic postseason performances, like Game 3 of the 1987 Western Conference Finals against the Supersonics, where he dropped 39 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists on 64% shooting, which was good enough to get the Lakers a 1-point victory. Over that entire 1987 Western Conference Finals, he averaged 30.5 points on 60% shooting, and no other Laker averaged above 20 points. Even in seasons where they came up short, he still played like a monster, like in Game 4 of the 1989 NBA Finals against the Pistons. Byron Scott and Magic Johnson were out due to injuries, and James rose to the occasion, scoring 40 points on 65% shooting in a heroic effort. His defining moment, though, came in the 1988 NBA Finals. This was the Lakers' 5th and final championship run of the 1980s, and it would be a hard-fought 7-game series against the Bad Boys of Detroit, led by Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, and Bill Laimbeer. The final 2 games of this series would be decided by 1 basket, and the Laker who shined brightest in the most crucial games of their season was not the captain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, it was not the face of Showtime, Magic Johnson, it was the overlooked member of the dynamic trio, Big Game James Worthy. In Game 6, James was the Lakers' leading scorer, putting up 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists on 54% shooting. In Game 7, he took it to the next level, and he absolutely had to, as he played one of the greatest Game 7s in NBA history, dropping 36 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists on 68% shooting. The Lakers needed every single one of those statistics to win the deciding game by just 3 points. I think it goes without saying that Big Game James is one of the most well-deserved nicknames there is. Now, as a lifelong Lakers fan, I have to ask, how the hell did this man accomplish all of this, put Los Angeles on his back to win the 1988 NBA championship, and yet does not have a statue in his honor outside of Staples Center? This legend isn't just criminally overlooked in the basketball community, but he's even overlooked in our own Laker nation. So just how good was James Worthy really? Well, he isn't incredibly high on many of the all-time statistical lists, but he was a key and vital star in the Lakers' Showtime dynasty. He had a unique and efficient skill set, and he was one of the most clutch players to ever play the game of basketball. Let me know in the comments section how good James Worthy was in your own words. Thanks for watching this.
Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Peace. No wait, actually, what do you guys think of James Worthy? I honestly think it's pretty sad because he is underrated even in his own city. But I do hope after this video, just like me, you guys appreciate James Worthy more. I honestly knew that James Worthy was an amazing player, but I didn't know that he was that good. But anyway guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.